We're back in with a review show after Nottingham Forest's 2-1 win against Hull yesterday. If you've got any comments about yesterday's game, comment below. And I've got some special guests coming in. First of all, I'll start with Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, great to be back there. Thanks for having us on, mate.
No worries. Next to me, we've got the legend, Foxer. How you doing, Foxer?
Legend, I like it. How are you? I'm good.
I'm not too bad. I'm happy. I'm happy as Larry. And we've got some new starters. I've known these way back. The first time I met these two, Molly and Ella, was the Fulham away on the boat. And I got a story. Before we start, I got a story because it was a boat trip, Fulham away. And how old was you, Ella, when I met you?
I think I was
18. Definitely 18.
You liar. You liar.
Hey, my students will be watching this.
But yeah, all it is, I met Bob, and I think it was Fulham away, and fantastic people. And as well, the game that we need to remember was the Bristol City game. What a day that was, wasn't it? What a day. And yeah, I was so excited. I saw Bob, jumped on Bob, never been so happy in my life. And yeah, it was so amazing. But yeah, like I said, people in the comments, give a warm welcome to everyone in the comments. And like I said, people, if you've got any questions for everyone, put in the comments below. Who should start with? We'll start with you, Foxer. And yesterday's performance and another win. And come on, talk to us, man. How are you feeling?
I'm happy, Larry. Like you say. I mean, if you'd have said to us at the beginning of the season that we'd be sitting a point outside the playoffs at Christmas, everybody would be happy with that. Apart from those that obviously have got really high expectations and expected to be top of the league, 10 points clear. But after the start that we had, you can't complain, can you? And I said to Charlie, who was with me yesterday, even though we were 1-0 down at half time, I was like, we're still going to win the game. Like, there was no point that you thought that it was out of our hands. And, you know, their goal was a little bit, well, massively against the run of play.
Yeah.
And Spence got caught out a little bit on that. But, you know, I think he fully expected the offside flag to go up. And having seen it back about 20 times today, I'm still not convinced that the guy wasn't offside. So, yeah, I mean, they scored a good goal. It was really well taken. And I just loved the fact that Forest sort of got themselves back into it. Dubious penalty, but we should have had one a couple of minutes earlier. And then I just want to watch that grab and take down and taking on those two players and the goal from Brennan for the rest of the week, to be honest.
What a goal. Boy, like I said, the performance, I was going to get Steve, like, echo what Lise just said. Like, yesterday, like, 1-0 down, but we was never out of it, was we, Steve?
No, I think Lisa's just nailed it there with everything. Yeah, you're right. He was never out of it. And, you know, against the runner play, that's got to be said. I mean, we were absolutely dominating. But isn't it nice when we go 1-0 down now, that you always think now we've got that in our room, yeah, we can score two. Yeah. Under the previous manager, go 1-0 down, you think the best we can get is a 1-1 draw. So, yeah, it's just, you've got the hope and you've got the belief, you think, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, and it's just great to watch.
Molly and Elle, like I said, yesterday's performance was fantastic. As you know, Bob, like I said, we mentioned the Bristol game beforehand, but I said, like, when we're losing 1-0 and Forest fans thinking, we're still in the game, and how are you feeling, Bob? Like, just the Forest fans, we're excited. Social media, it's different now to the way it was back at the start of the season, and it's no negative comments, are there?
It's just, first of all, it's just enjoyable to watch again, which it hasn't been for a while. And secondly, I was reading a stat today. I can't remember it exactly. It's something like, is it 3 or 4 times we've been losing at half time under Steve Cooper, and we've come back to win every game. And it took us something like 80 odd games previous to that to come back 3 times and win at half time. It never felt like we weren't going to at least get the point, if not win, even when we went behind. We were so dominant, and fair play. Spence made an error, but their guy, his touch was magnificent, to be fair. Certainly one we should be keeping an eye on, that left winger, I thought. He was very, very good. But never for a minute did I think we were going to lose that game once, even when we went 1-0 down. Because if anything, we could have been out of sight by half time if we'd have taken our chances, that final ball a couple of times, grabbed shanked on the knee at the far post. It was only a matter of time, I felt, till we scored. And then once we did score, I couldn't see them holding on, and so it proved.
Elle, how are you feeling, Elle?
Oh, I'm feeling brilliant. I've never seen the glory days of Forest. This is glorious for me. I'm having a wonderful time.
Sick of me talking about them.
I'm just jealous. Well, actually, my best game was when we avoided relegation on goal difference.
Oh,
That's my version of the
When
glory.
was that? Oh, the Ipswich one. Ipswich one.
Ipswich, pitch
Listen, that-
invasion. Wow.
Oh, that was amazing. But,
Not quite Peterborough, though, was it?
Lisa, you mentioned Luce Grabban. I think I remember I slagged him off under Hooton, but he's a changed man into under Cooper.
It's back to his best, isn't he? I think you could say that about quite a few of the players, though. You know that whatever it was. I mean, I can't touch on it as to what Hooton actually did that was so different to what Cooper does, and whether it is just the fact that Cooper instills a belief in the players that they are, 100% every week. And I mean, you look at the Grabbans, you look at the likes of Yates. I mean, how much
I want to mention my Yates.
I say we slated him. I've never slated him because I love the guy.
No, Lisa, I'm number one fan. Don't go there. I'm Ryan Yates' number one fan. So
I'm number one fan. Not a chance, mate.
No. Listen, because like there's mention here, like Yates is one of the haters. The guy's always good. You never let. No, see, how can you do that to me on here? That's not fair, Lisa. Like there's comment here, like Yates is expressing himself, which previous managers never let Yates man the match for me. And I was just mentioning like Lisa just mentioned Yates, Steve, and again he's been him and Colback. Like Colback was getting so much stick as well.
Colback's amazing. Colback was again yesterday. I was really surprised that Johnson actually got man of the match because I thought there were, and I'm not taking anything away from him because he did play really well. But I just thought there were a few other players that actually deserved it more, especially for the fact that Colback played 75 minutes on a yellow card. Yeah,
you know what? I was getting scared because I think when he went left back, I think who was their right winger? Was it? I thought it was the one who scored. He was really good. Yeah, he was really good.
He knows Potter, yeah,
he was really good. And I got worried about Colback getting that bucket, but Steve, like Colback and Yates, like, come on, it's just been it's mad, isn't it?
It's great, and you know what? And I think just that little change of formation, and then you look at another player you look at who's come into a completely new vein of form, attacking wise. Dare I say it, attacking wise, starting attacks. Joe Worrell, you know, he's stepping out, 20 yards into the inside right channel. When he's pinging the balls, he's up because we do the audio description commentary. Yeah. So I'm forever saying, Worrell right at the centre circle. He's that far up all the time, and then hitting those diagonals to grab it on the left corner of the box, and it's brilliant. But I'm so glad you all mentioned Colback because when he had to drop in on the left, I thought he defended brilliantly. I thought he was a rock running, nothing went past it. All right, we know he's not going to get forward, but wow, did he defend so well? But yeah, it says it all when you can pick from 4 or 5 people for man of the match. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these players there's so many players that we can mention. People in the comments, who was your man of the match? I'll tell the panel who was man of the match later on. Marlon, like we can mention like Grabban, Yates, Colback. Like, who have you been impressed with so far since Cooper's come in?
Oh, the obvious one I know, Spence.
Don't mention
of the goal that they scored to Middlesbrough. You know what, though? I was talking to someone the other day. Middlesbrough don't need him. They've got an identical young right wing back doing the job for him, Isaiah Jones. And they've got a reserve right back.
That's a good answer.
They've got a reserve right back who's been on the bench most of the season that's now playing right side of centre back. If they recall him, only because they're going to sell him or because they don't want us to compete with him, I guess. But Spencer's been my man. Colback as well. I think I've always liked Colback. I think coming back from a broken leg,
I never rated Colback. I didn't like him. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like him.
Something, Ben, while we've got you, because you went in with the slightly bigger boys, didn't you, on Saturday? I noticed on the blog. So when are you going to join us in A block?
I scream like a girl there. I can't go there. You mad? No, listen. I do apologise to the Trent. I wasn't there. I really loved it at the Brentford end. I loved it. There was some crazy guys there. Mad. Just drank a little bit of water, but I loved it. So I do apologise, Trent, for not being there because I know I got a few stick from Twitter. Like, where was your door? So I do apologise. I'm back. Huddersfield, I think.
What, getting stick on Twitter? What, there's a first.
Oh, dude. Steve, after the game, everyone kept saying, "Where was your door? You bell end." Sorry for my language, but yeah. I do apologise. I wasn't there, but I'll be back soon, so I apologise. Good, Steve, and I mentioned. Like I said, I spoke in my last podcast. I spoke about Johnson, and he got so much stick. Like I think he was quiet, not before the Swansea game. I think it was 4 or 5 games, and Swansea game and the game against Hull. He's proved a little bit doubtful, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's great because I think, had Brentford snapped him up and took him to the Premier League, I'll be honest, I don't think he's ready for the Premier League yet. But as you say, he's just getting progressively better and better and better. And you just got to rack up them appearances. He cut his teeth at Lincoln, did really well there. Now this is the next step. It's all sort of, it's all a progression to the promised land for him. And whether he gets there with us or whatever, he'll get there in the end. But yeah, he's still got a lot to learn. A bit naive at times, but he's just getting better and better. And you can what I love about him is, when that final took, when a defender's like going in and it's almost like Snatch.
Yeah.
The film Snatch, like where they freeze it and think, oh shit. Because like centre half thinking, if I dive in here, I'm gonna wipe him out because he's just gonna rinse me. And it's just great to see. It's like he's on the front foot. But yeah, he'll get better and better.
Talking about, like I said, we'll talk about Spence and Lisa. We'll talk about Spence, Lisa, in a minute. Because I know like Lisa's been on Twitter saying Spence has been rubbish. I think he has, to be fair. And but yeah, Spence again. I thought he was fantastic yesterday. He kept like the left winger quiet. And I'm asking you, El, because you're a young fan. You've not seen nothing great for your age, but are you excited for the way Forest are playing this season?
I am. It's the fact that we are on such good form. It's not like a couple seasons ago, don't want to remember that, where we started off so well and then we just fell.
You're not talking about Lamuccio, are you?
We're going to...
Bob, I said to her, don't bring negativity. What's your daughter doing? Take her off.
No. That's in the past now. We're going up. We're looking up.
Are you confident? Are you confident, Elliot, that we'll go up?
I am.
I'm not putting pressure on you.
I am confident, I'm back in Forest at the minute. We're only looking to get better. I think we have so much potential and Cooper is doing so well with like the mindset. Like when we're 1-0 down, we're still pushing for a win. And I think we're going up. I'm saying it loud and proud.
Brilliant. El said it first, sorry. Yeah.
Right, people in the comments, do you agree with El? I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm not because the freaking problem is if El's saying it, if I agree with it, I'll get stick for it. So I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing because I'm not having this. No, because it's always me. I mentioned Ellie mentioned Cooper Steve and the guy. I don't want to say genius because there's still a long way to go, but he's changed everything, can he? Like I mentioned, social media, like everyone's positive. There's no negative vibes with Forest fans, but it's exciting, seeing it.
Yeah, it's just what we needed. Someone young, innovative, and I think if you look at the last 5 years, all right, a few good spells and whatever, but predominantly a couple of tinkering with formations. It's been 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1, and then suddenly this little change of shape, and a guy who's won the World Cup with England under 20s, I believe, or whatever. Yeah, he's a breath of fresh air. And he gets it and he understands, he respects the club. And not that we demand respect because we've been out top flight for 22 years, but he just fits perfect. And I think he's exactly what we needed. He wasn't this massive name, which we've always gone for in the past, but it just works and everyone loves him. And I tell you what, the only game we've lost, 4-0 Fulham, no boos after that game. And he was still on the pitch. He was still clapping him, not quite fist bumping, but he was clapping and applauding the fans. And everyone sort of went, yeah, you know what? We attacked Fulham that day.
He did it 4 times. 4 times he did the bump. 4 times.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, fresh air. Brilliant.
But yeah, I'm not to tell you, Lisa, like, since I think we mentioned Billy Davis, he used to do that at the end, but Steve Cooper coming to Forest and him just the way he's interacting with Forest fans as well, it's great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a massive breath of fresh air. And I think for us, obviously, we had that connection with Sabri. And obviously last year, we didn't have that same connect. And there was a massive disconnect between Houghton and the fans. I know that lockdown didn't really help that situation.
It didn't help at all, no.
But at the same, I don't know that it would have been that much different because he's such a different character. And Cooper speaks from the heart and he is so genuine. And you believe everything that he says and you just hang on to every word that he says. And I didn't think I'd feel like that. But he is so honest that you know that, and he loves our club. You can see it. It's not just the 4 fist bumps in the Trent end, it's the 4 fist bumps every single stand, you know, and he's already like banging on his chest, and you just think, you know, this guy
I love that.
This guy believes, and if he believes, then why shouldn't we believe? So whilst I'm not quite on Ellie's page of we are going up, I think top six, and then playoff failure yet again. But next season.
You think next season?
Yeah.
I think this season has got to be. I do, because, and the reason I think that, and I wonder if Steve would agree, I feel like the heartbeat of our team and our club, Worrell, Yates, Johnson, the lads who have come through, with the other really good players around them, if we don't go up this year, I'm pretty sure one of those at least will get snapped up, you know, because who's not, you know, like Cashy did, you can't turn down life-changing moves like that, can you? And like you say, the way Worrell and Yates have been playing, someone's going to be interested if it carries on, aren't they, if we don't go up?
Can't disagree with that, Marlo. Yeah. Can't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, but like you mentioned Ryan Yates, like I said, people used to like Ryan Yates you didn't get a chance under Antil Kwankyo, the past managers, but now look at him. Everyone's talking about him. And
Forest have always had their fair share of what Clough used to call no-outs, didn't they? Haven't they? I mean, anyone who knows the game respected and rated Ryan Yates. Of course, he had his bad games, but the job he does, every manager picks him. He does the job the manager asks, whatever that job might be. He'd go in goal if you asked him. Every club needs one. I love him a little bit more than you or Lisa.
Don't listen, man. No. Right. People in the comments, you tell everyone how I praise Ryan Yates. I used to praise him when everyone used to slaughter him.
Same. I said he played in the Premier League when everyone was slating him. I put it on one of the forums once that he will be a Premier League player, ideally with us, but someone will snap him up. And I got slaughtered for it. But now look at everyone. Class is class.
Well, to back you up there, who'd have, said at the time James Perch would have been a Premier League player? Very similar player to
100%.
He did really well with Newcastle, I thought, and he proved himself in the top division for a while, and so there's
career, didn't he?
Yeah. So why not?
Yates is another level, though. To be honest, slightly better level. Not to disrespect Perch. I like Perch. Remember, he was a 15-year-old, funnily enough, and thought he's going to go somewhere. But I think Yates is just that. He's got that physicality as well, hasn't he? The build, the kind of athleticism alongside everything else, and he can pass when he wants to. He can really pass as well.
Yeah, yesterday he was spraying some around, wasn't he?
See, you see what? See the love people of Ryan Yates. This is what I like to see. People are loving Ryan Yates, and I just like to see, like, you forget the other panel, like, Ryan Yates. Ryan Yates, I love you, man. You're
Thank God you didn't get Matt on.
You have a song for him at the front end.
I'm Matt.
Oh, don't get right, people, if you've got any questions for Fox, Steve, and Mary, just put in the comments below. You can. Like, if you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. Let's go. We'll talk about, like I said, we'll talk about people like Spence, Garner, especially the loan players, and even the low. Generally, it's going to be important for us, Fox here. And I know you, like I said, we mentioned you want Spencer to stay. It's important. It's important, isn't it? Like I said, he can't play against Middlesbrough because that's his club. But it's important, isn't it, to keep him at Forest?
It's important for the momentum as well. I think you look at the way that he plays, and there's just you look at the way that he is with the other players, and you think, why would you want to leave? You can see that they've got a rapport. You can see that they've got it's a really good mentality, and we've got that dressing room love back again. You can see that is where, and that might be you know, when things aren't quite going their way in terms of the scoreline, like yesterday, that they all played for each other and they were all with each other, and there wasn't any bickering or arguing or anything like that. And I mean, for me, that little cheeky ball that he put through, you know, just like back that little back heel to Johnson in the first half, you just think, oh, this guy, you know. And I do joke about it, and I do Spence Watch every week, and I just giggle to myself when I see all these people going, yeah, but he's really good, what are you talking about? And then I think, but what if he saw it? What if he actually saw what I'm putting every week, and he thinks, who's this person? What is she on? But yeah, all of our lone players are important, aren't they? And it's January is going to be interesting because we've got 5 players on loan. They're all featuring quite heavily within the squad. So what do? You know, who do you send back? And if we are going to strengthen, somebody's got to go for us to actually be able to do that.
Lisa, let me put you in the spot, Lisa. I'll tell everyone else. Let me put you in the spot. Who would you want to leave? There's one comment. People in the comments. Who would you want to leave? Like I said,
that is really hard. That is a really hard question. Because at the beginning of the season, we signed Jordan Atutu on the basis that he was going to be our number 1 right back. And he unfortunately has been injury prone. And I felt really sorry for him yesterday because I actually thought he was doing a really decent job. So he broke down again. Spence now for me, he's up there, isn't he? And I think if we have him for the whole season, he may well be up there as player of the season. But then you would say that about quite a few of our players at the minute, which is great. But I think we do need some backup for Graben.
What about Taylor though? Like, I know he's not done great.
We're talking about lone players. We're not talking about others. And I think we do need some backup. And Taylor does the job that he is brought on to do. And I think, I mean, against Swansea, when he sort of was involved in the 4th goal, he did really, really well, took players on, put that ball in. It was just down to his strength that sometimes you don't see that from him. You know, he likes falling over sometimes, doesn't he? And that's the bit that frustrates me about his game. But, you know, the fact is that he sometimes gets to come on for 10 minutes here and there. And in that 10 minutes, he can score 2 really important goals, like we've talked about against Bristol City. And he does the job, and he probably doesn't get a fair crack at the whip. He doesn't, because he only gets 10, 15 minutes here and there, and he's not the same sort of player as Lewis. And if we're playing the system that we're playing, it's not really made out for him. So I do feel for Taylor, but in terms of who do we send back? It's a really hard question because I don't know the answer.
No one knows. I'm going to mention this to Steve, and I remember I joked with Steve at the what game was it, Everton, about a certain Carvalho, and he come on. I think it was 60th minute, and I'm not. I want to be real. I want to be honest, and he's not at game time, and he didn't make a much impact coming on, but defensive wise, he was okay. But Steve, do you think, let's say with him coming on, he might be starting to get more game time in the future?
I'll be honest, in a word, no. And I think because let me just sit on the fence for once.
Steve always just goes on the fence. He doesn't answer the question. So I'm trying.
So this is the first, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm not giving my politician answers. Last time I was on, everyone was like, "God, get him off! Get him off!" So I'm trying to be.
It's okay. It's okay. Just say how you feel. Go on.
So I'll give him a reason for it. He wouldn't have got on the pitch if it wasn't for the injury to Mighton, who was obviously a sub in the first place. But, although he's not one of my favourites, I don't really rate him. I would never berate him or whatever. And I wouldn't pick on him for yesterday. I wouldn't. He just got thrown in there. He did try to do what he could. But to answer your question, no, I don't think he's any part of the plans going forward.
I was surprised, I was surprised because Cafu was on the bench and he come on against Swansea, score. But I was surprised Cafu didn't come on to play as that number 10 role.
We said the same. We said, and although Cafu, alongside Garner in the holding role was absolutely outstanding when them two were paired up. I was gobsmacked last week against Swansea how brilliant he was attacking wise.
He's been before Swansea. I think he's come on. I think he's been great, if I'm honest. So I don't know. Just he's a changed man. All Forest fans love it. Like what's that?
It's the Cooper effect.
Cooper effect, yeah, they're all changed men, aren't they?
Yeah, but it could happen to Carvalho. Like Stephen Black mentioned, like I don't know what to say. I used to berate him, Carvalho. Like I just don't think he's good enough for Forest. And Cooper could be the man, slowly bring him to the team. But I don't know. What do you think, Ellen, Bob? What do you think? Do you think
we've got to declare vested interest here because Ellie loves Carvalho. He used to live a few doors down before he got sent off to Spain. And whenever he was mowing his lawn, Ellie always used to go out for her COVID walk. But I personally think, this is just my view, he's got all the tools to be a top player. But since he got that clattering off that dirty sheep at Alfreton, he's never been quite the same. I think I'm reading stuff and what little I haven't met him. I think he might be just a bit too nice. The elements of the football because he's got talent. And what I don't like though is people slate him for the wrong reasons. Yeah, he gives the ball away too much and he's a bit soft, but his work rate's phenomenal. Like yesterday, he was running around like a headless chicken, closing down and stuff. It's not his work rate that's the issue, is it? But I just think, a bit like Steve, that ship's probably sailed now, and he's never been that same player. What I did wonder though, one of his best games, I think it was last. Do you remember we won 1-0 away at Swansea? And was man of the match that day, tore him apart, and Cooper was their manager.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that game.
I don't know if that was pre the injury or it must have been, I guess.
He come on, didn't he? As a sub.
No, he started the game. I'm sure he did. He was
no. He come on. He got injured at Everton. He was out for like a month, and then he come on. It was him, Joe Lolly, and and Semedo, come on,
right?
And he did change the game, if I remember.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And they couldn't handle him at all. And you just think, where's that come from, and why can't we get more of it? But if anyone can, Cooper's the man, isn't he?
It's funny. We've all been talking about Yates, and you always got to have a hater, the hated player or the figure of hate. What I will say is with Carvalho, he didn't sign himself. He didn't pay 30 million for himself. If that's classed as a bad transfer in the end, if and when he does go, then we probably shouldn't look too much at him and then look at the process of who was hoodwinked into buying him and for that much after like 8 appearances at Benfica or whatever it was. So that comes into the equation, I think.
He's not a championship player, if we're honest, is he? There's a footballer in there, but it's the wrong league, isn't it? Definitely. You want, on a bad day, Ryan Yates will put a foot in, win his headers, win his tackles. And that's kind of Carvalho works hard, but he can't tackle out his way out of a wet paper bag, so to speak, can he really?
He's just got to change his surname to Diaz and then he'll be firing goals.
Oh, Steve, don't mention Diaz to me. I remember the Norwich game, don't know. Why am I mentioning it?
No, I'm on about Brereton Diaz.
Oh, no, Diaz. I thought you were about the other Portuguese
No, not him. Not the super sub.
There's six people in. Like I said, if you want to ask any questions, you can ask to the panel. Another question, like I said, we mentioned like the players that we should be bringing in, and like I said, Joe Wall's been linked away, Johnson's been linked away, and like I said, there's quite a lot of players that have been linked away. And what players do you think that we definitely need to keep? And I might ask you, Lisa, like Worrell, lead off the Forest, especially at the back, alongside McKenna, but he's been linked move away. What players do you think that we need to keep in January?
All of them. What a stupid question is that?
I don't know.
Charming.
Do you know what I mean?
If we had to, because you know what's going to happen, Lisa? We're going to hear on Twitter, Worrell's been linked with West Ham, blah, 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 this and that. Like, it's going to happen. So,
of course it is. But I also think that we have a hierarchy that has a plan. And they will not want us to sell anyone if we don't have to. And for me, if I was sat on that board looking in at the moment, we are sitting really pretty. So I don't think January will be the time that we sell anybody. It will be that time that we go, you know what, we've got a really good chance here. We're sitting 7th in the league. We are unbeaten in however many games. Let's see where we can end up. And if Forest get promoted, as Ellie says that we're going to do, then it won't matter because we won't be under the FFP restrictions. It won't matter because we'll have got promoted, we'll have got that promised land, and we'll have money that we don't really expect. If we get to the summer and we don't make the playoffs or we don't get promoted, I think it's a completely different kettle of fish.
You know what? That's sorry to butt in there, Lisa. You made a great point there. You're referring to the fact we've got loads of loanees, haven't you? And like Watford went up with that with all the Udinese loanees.
Yeah.
And things. But yeah, sorry to put in. But yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
But
That's what money for Brereton.
We've still got the Gunter money somewhere. I mean, come on. Not spent that yet. But it is. It's that. I mean, we've not even mentioned Zinchenko because
I know we haven't mentioned him as well.
You know, and again, there's another loan player that you really, he's grown as the season's gone on. He's got better and better, and I don't think we've seen the best out of him yet. So
you know what you mentioned like him, like as well. We mentioned James Garner, and I think he didn't start great for Forest, did he? And
no,
slowly, like I think, like I said, when Colback's been playing left back, him and Yates playing
Garner was excellent again yesterday.
He was, wasn't it?
Excellent.
He was excellent, and I feel bad. As I said, I used to criticise him so much, but now Cooper slowly. I think there was talks of him going back to Man U because he needed more game time. But let me ask you, Bob. Garner, like I said, he's been great for us, hasn't he? Playing in that midfield with Yates.
Yeah, he's a quality player, I think. I think the thing is, people forget how young he is compared to. He's not like 22, 23. He's what is he now? 20 or 21? He's not even 21, is he? And young players always have a bit of it. I think he's turned 20, hasn't he?
He's turned 20 now.
At the start of the season, and he's young players always have a little bit of a dip as they're learning, and then it's how they come back from it, isn't it? What they call the J curve or whatever. And he's coming right on back on the up. He's a classy performer, though, isn't he? He's too good not to come back. You know, his awareness of space. I know his passing range is good off either foot, but his awareness of space is superb as well. He's, every time he receives a ball in a tight spot, he just seems to turn out of trouble 9 times out of 10. And I love that. He's a proper footballer at the end of the day, as you'd expect with his pedigree. I like him. You like him,
do you like him, El?
Not like that. They're not.
He's 20, so.
Who's your favourite player for Forest so far then?
Oh, I just love Joe Worrell. I just love him. The heart he has for the club, the way he plays, like, as my dad said, he's like the heartbeat of our team. He is just fantastic. We can rely on him always. And it's just that passion. I am a little bit in love with him, I'm not going to lie. Joe Worrell.
Listen, you're so confident, aren't you? Like, she wants Forest to get promoted. She's in love with Joe Worrell. Bloody hell.
I don't mind being his father-in-law.
Oh, bloody hell, I'm loving this. Like people say, if you've got any questions, just point below. It's like I said, Forest was 7th, and how many points were away from playoffs? Is it one point? One point. And I said right at the start of the season, Forest will finish 15th, and I'll go through everyone like in the comments, and I'll start with you, Lisa. I think I've asked you already, like. When Hooter was in charge, where did you thought Forest would finish? And now we've got Cooper. Where exactly do you think you finished with Forest? I'll mention everyone else. We'll start with you, Lisa.
Well, if you go by the fact, the start of the season where we were, I think before the season started, you had to think, it's got to be better than last year. So I would have agreed with you with the 15th because I think that was progress. But given the start that we had, I was really fearful that we weren't going to get out of it. And that turnaround now is massive. And I think if we don't make the top 6, I mean, I'll head against heart here. My head says if we finish in the top 10, I'd be really happy with that after the start that we had. But given the run of games that we're on now, and we've just played 15, 16 games, which is basically, a quarter of the season.
Yeah. And
we've matched every team. And even like just talking about that Fulham game that we lost 4-0. It wasn't a 4-0 result. They didn't outplay us. There was a couple of lucky goals and a couple of mistakes. So for me, I think top 6 is achievable, and I think I'll be gutted if we don't make the playoffs.
I won't. I mean, like I said,
I hate them, but I'll be gutted.
I was pessimistic. I said I was saying, start of the season, I think Forest will finish 15th, And I still think we'll finish 15th. I'm just because I'm trying to be negative, but I'm trying to be like, what's the word? I think we'll finish. I wanted to finish playoffs, but I'll say 15th. So far, it's going to even get better because I think if you know what I mean, I'm trying to say
Suspicious.
Reverse psychology, isn't it?
That's the word, Lisa. I think we'll finish 15th. Reverse psychology. That's what I'm trying to do. We'll finish 15th, but yes. What about you, Steve? Where did you thought Forest would finish, and then where do you think the Wolves finish?
Do you know, like an idiot on the podcast that we did, like every year, I was like,
Shout out to Forever Forest.
I'm not really part of it now, but I was sort of saying every year, we'll be, just in and about the playoffs, and then this year I just said no, we've got no chance, and we're just going to be. I kind of grew up, lost the sort of Peter Pan mentality, and I said, well, we'd be about 14th at best, a bit like you guys. Now I'm still going to be the Grinch. I'm going to say like we're going to finish 7th, just outside the playoffs. And a bit like you, Ben, reverse psychology, that, if it happens, I'm happy to be wrong. So there we go.
Exactly. I'll be happy to run, but I think we'll finish 15th. But from L, we'll start with you, L. We're like, have you said playoffs already? But whereabouts in the top 6?
I think now, obviously, I would say 4th. That's something I have a lot of confidence.
You know what? I like you, El. You can call my channel so many times, man. You can call my channel so many times. Man.
Proper confident, yeah. Proper.
There's a lot of time to take away that hopeful attitude.
Barbara, you've been giving a bit of water to your daughter.
No.
She's so
I'm going to nail my colours to the mast here. And this is definitely not more out of hope than me. 22nd of April, Peterborough away. Is history repeating itself?
You're going to go on the pitch, both of you.
Right.
Right. Are you going to hit the pitch?
Right. This is funny, right? Shout out to Malcolm Owen. Malcolm Owen said, Malcolm, I know you're watching. He said exactly the same thing. We'll go to Peterborough away and we'll get promoted. This is what Malcolm Owen said. I'm sorry, Malcolm, I'm saying your name, but I don't care. I said the same as well. I said 15th, but.
Yeah, you
that's also called hedging your bets, Ben.
Even if we nail our playoff place at Peterborough, that would just be amazing. That's my favourite ever away day in my whole life. Better than all the European trips, better than Wembley, better than anything. Peterborough away was the tops ever.
Yeah. Wow. Apparently 14,000 Forest fans in the London Road that day.
Wow.
14,000.
I just remember we had 3 of the stands.
Yeah.
And
the floodlight.
And had to jump into
the floodlight, yeah.
And the floodlight.
And a burger van.
These younger generations, they don't know. So if you don't know, Forest won the league at Pedo with Stan Collymore. What a goal he scored! But that'd be amazing. Like I said, Malcolm said exactly the same thing. People away, something could happen there. But when is it? What day is it? April
22nd of April.
22nd.
Third from last game.
I better book that day.
Put it in the stars.
Bob said it first. If it happens, I'll get Bob on the show again, and it could happen. I'm still saying 15th. Reverse psychology.
I'm saying 6th. In reality, I'm saying 6th.
But like I said, there's 88 people in. Like I said, if you've got ask any questions for the panel, we can. Like I say, I'm so excited. Like I said, looking on social media, like I said, it was dreadful under Chris Hutton, and now Steve Cooper's come in. It's just so, like I said, it's so. I was listening to your podcast, Lisa, and even Freebie. He's so excited as well, and like talking to fellow Forest fans, it's just like it's just happy, innit? We're in a happy place, and we just I don't know. But like Lisa, how are you feeling right now? Like it's mad, isn't it, Lisa?
It is mad because I think as one of these ancient Forest fans that you keep referring to,
I've never quite listen.
We've just got used to the disappointment, haven't we? That we had all those seasons where we were up there and we were in or around Wembley every year, and then we dropped out of the Premiership and never to be seen again, really.
Yeah.
We are so used to that disappointment. That I mean, when we lost to Stoke. And Swansea won. It wasn't unexpected, was it?
No, it wasn't.
it wasn't unexpected that Forest were just going to implode. There was just something that made you, as a Forest fan, go, yeah, it's too good to be true. We're not going to make it. And so you do kind of feel that even though we're riding on a high at the minute, 15th is probably a good place for us to finish this season. However, you look across the board and you look at the players that we've got and you look at how the fans are so connected again, that it is a good place to be. And I think that Cooper and the backroom staff have worked really, really hard to get everybody back on the same page very, very quickly. And it needed to be done because the previous regime, it was just mental, wasn't it, really? The disconnect between us and the team and the club. And I know, again, lockdown didn't help that because you hadn't got that connection with the players either, really. But to get back in there, and I do wonder whether that actually affected the players as well. So I am a little bit fearful that if things go the way that we think that they're going to go, and we're not allowed back in after Christmas,
I was about to mention that as well.
It's going to go against us. I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative because I think we are on such a high at the minute, and Forest. I mean, and it might be completely different because you know when Billy was at the club the first time, and he and his players had that siege mentality that it was them against the world. It kind of feels like it's that all over again. And so regardless of what's to come, you look at the next fixture and you say, well, we can beat them. And you look at the next fixture, oh, we can beat that. And it doesn't matter that actually every single game, and I'm talking about the teams that are top six as well. You look at all of them and you go, actually, if our team goes out and performs, even if they only perform for 45 minutes, that actually that 45 minutes will be enough to see us over the line, whether it be a draw or whatever. That I am really positive that there is a really good vibe around the club at the minute, and why shouldn't we be positive? You know, it's about time we deserve some good luck, I reckon.
Well, we need some good luck. Like I said, I mentioned to the panel like your favourite games, but like I said, since Steve Cooper, I know the defeat against Fulham, but that was just it was nothing. But like I said, people, I'm going to mention to the panel. What's your favourite game since Steve Cooper has come in? I know I'm not going to mention you. I know your game already, Bob and Els. I don't need to ask you lot. Steve, what's been your favourite game so far since Cooper's come in?
Oh, that's a good question. It's hard to think because, you might have to come back to me on that one. I mean, obviously Bristol City was great, but I wasn't there like you guys. I think to be there, we've absolutely made it. I mean, that was great, and it was a smash and grab. Off the top of my head, I'm not really sure. I mean, performance-wise, do you know what? I'll throw the spanner in the works. I'll say yesterday for me because
it's the way it was.
They were on a real good run. We were, and we were just so much better than them. And then like to go 1-0 down, but I know it's all subjective. But for me, that's that one.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, I get that as well because I said I think we was playing well, and then I think when 2-2 came off, everything changed. And when Hull scored, I thought, this is the time we've got to impress the second half, and we did. So I get that as well. So that's understandable. Lisa, what's yours?
It is interesting. I think for me, my favourite game was Peterborough. But that's because Ryan Yates scored with little Yates, didn't he?
Yes. Yes, he did. My man, my guy, Ryan Yates. See? Ryan Yates
I got the photo of you eating a pie.
Right, listen, people. Lisa likes to take pictures about me. I don't know why. I'm camera shy, as everyone knows. So yeah, stop taking pictures of me.
In terms of home games, I thought probably one of our best performances was Blackpool. Because they weren't a bad side. I thought they played really well that day.
That was an excellent game. That was it. I forgot all about that.
Really entertaining as well.
Because they were on a good run of form, weren't they?
Yes, it was. Bloody hell! See, there's so many games.
Preston as well was a really good one. You know that they'd beaten Bournemouth in the week, and you thought we were going to get a really hard game, and we just turned up, and they didn't.
It's so funny because like I said, all these home games. Like we're not going to mention the away games. Like Steve Cooper's not lost away yet, and we can mention the Bristol City game, Bob. We was there, and wow, like tell everyone. It was mad, wasn't it?
Oh, it was crazy because I mean, I don't know if people watched it on the TV stuff, but we actually were playing all right.
It
And
was.
then for the last 15 minutes, we were in a group. We were saying, "Oh, it feels like it's kind of gone a bit quiet now. We've kind of not got what we deserve." I think it was Garner played a straight pass through that it was just inches off the end of somebody's toe. And we're like, "Oh, maybe it's not going to happen today." Then obviously what happened. But I was still celebrating the equaliser. I looked up and I saw, I think it was Mighton passed to Lolly, and obviously then the goal. And I don't know. Normally, you normally say, "Yeah." I just think I was just screaming like random.
Wait. So let me make. Was it you screaming like a girl? Because I'm getting it like I was screaming.
No, I was sat next to
it was Bob. People, it's confirmed.
No, it was still you. It was definitely you.
People, it's confirmed. Bob was the one that screamed like a girl.
No.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. Everybody was. Can't mention there's one player nobody's mentioned really that we keep forgetting. Mr. 7.5 out of 10 every game. McKenna. He's been quality. Reliable. I know it's a partnership, but apart from that Fulham game where he dropped the clanger, he's just a really good centre half. Isn't he? There's nuts and bolts. Just sort of centre half he would have loved, didn't he? Nuts and bolts.
Oh yeah.
Ben, one thing you mentioned just previously, you said like about the vibe now on social media and everyone's on board and whatever. I'll give you 2 examples. There's us, and now all this hatred and vitriol towards the board is gone. There's no Johnny Owen out, there's no Nick Randall out, there's no the Greeks out, all the rest of it. It's just gone away.
Yeah.
You look at the team that are third, Blackburn Rovers, the Venkies is still in charge.
Yeah.
That's gone away. And it just shows you how fickle a world it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just.
You know what? Spot on, Steve. Spot on. And like I said, when it was Chris Houghton and I think Mamanakis and what's his name? Is it Yanis?
Ventros.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
That guy. It was a toxic place, really toxic, and. So right now it's been changed. Like Dave Murphy come in, and as well, I like to mention Lisa Fox was. I will mention at the end. Lisa Fox had Dave Murphy on the Forest Forever channel, so we'll mention that after the end of the show. So people go and watch that.
Nice guy. Such a nice guy.
So yeah, I
haven't listened yet.
Afterwards. Right. What I'll do, people at the end, I will put the link up. So I need to listen to it because Froo's been messaging me this morning. He said, "Ben, you got to listen to it." So. When I heard Lisa's on there, I'm like, no, I'm not watching that. Lisa's on there. I'm not watching it. But yeah, people go and watch it. Like I said, it's a really good podcast. So yeah, you've got to watch it. And last but not least, like I said, it's so exciting. Like I said, I want to echo Steve, what Steve said. Like, it's so excited. Like, social media was really bad. And I think I've always said, when it comes to Forest losing, we have got the worst fans when it comes to losing. And to be fair, 99.9% Forest fans have been. It's great to see, and it's so fantastic. Like 83 people there. If Forest were losing, it'd be one person, like 4 or 5 people. But like I said, it's 83 people, and it's positive vibes, everyone. So I like to appreciate everyone that's coming to watch my channel.
Because Ellie put it on Instagram that she was on.
I was going to say, would that one person be Ben, and we wouldn't be here either?
Thank you, sir. See, another cheap one from Lisa, but yeah, it's like I say, it's fantastic to be a Forest fan at this moment in time. Last but not least, people, like I said, I'm going to mention everyone, and I'll start with you, Lisa. Like I know Lisa's on, she does Forest Favourite podcast, but she does a charity as well, Lisa. But talk about your charity, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm an ambassador for a Nottingham charity called Footprints Conductive Education Centre, who provide education for children with cerebral palsy and other motor function disabilities. It's been a really, really tough couple of years for them with regard to fundraising, because obviously so many events got cancelled. I managed to get my event in November, and I'm really, really proud that this year we raised over 35 grand for the charity, which when they broke it down and they said it works out at something like £700 a week, made me really, really proud, because actually I never expected that. And it's not down to me. I mean, people give me stuff and I'm really good at getting people to give me stuff and really good at people buying it off me. And I just want to say thank you to every single person who has donated and supported me in the last 2 years, really. There's, you know, even down to you, Ben, putting your suit on and turning up and just downing bottles of wine in the corner. Making everybody laugh.
Lisa put me in the worst seat ever. I was next to 3 crazy women, and I thought I had so much energy.
Can we name the crazy women?
No.
What's the crazy crew?
It was.
I think the crazy crew drove him to drink, and then the other crazy crew got him to drink more.
Listen, like I said, I went Lisa Vice's mate, and it was a fantastic event, and there was so much money raised as well. And like I said, I was there in my suit. The reason I drank because I'm not an 80s music person, so that it was that and the crazy women. So yeah, it was a fantastic event, Lisa, and I thank you for inviting me as well, Lisa. What I'll do, people, I'll put Lisa's link as well at the bottom. So if people want to do some money to Lisa, feel free. Steve as well. He does a lot of work as well with Forest as well. Steve, talk away.
So I've kind of stepped away from the blogging bit a little, which I should do more of.
You're slacking.
I am slacking. You've got Danny Peacock at Nottingham Sport, who I used to write, you know, frequently for. It's a bit more sporadic, but I need to write more for him because he's just such a brilliant bloke, and he's class. But I've really sort of hammered in the commentary side. So we do audio description commentary for the blind, visually impaired. Not enough clubs do it. Forest have been doing it for like 10 years or more. We've now got the likes of Wolves, Leicester, Cardiff, plethora of clubs now. There's about 15, 20 clubs, but it's all under Alan March Sports. Lisa's really familiar with Alan, great guy, does so much.
Shout out to Alan.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what we do, and it's just brilliant. I just absolutely love doing the commentary. I miss my pre-match beers. You know, when you go as a fan, we get down there early, do the prep and stuff, and but it's brilliant because if you get whether you get one listener or sort of 50, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just getting the blind, visually impaired fans back in the stadium. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, like I said, Steve does fantastic work. Like I said, he met Alan March does as well. I met Alan at Lisa's for the first time I met Alan at your event, Lisa. So that was the first time I met him, and he's a fantastic guy as well. Last but not least, I know El. I know your dad told me about you. You're a bit of a superstar. You've been working with someone, haven't you? Tell everyone, El.
Oh, which
one is it? What's the name?
The Rosie Cake Foundation.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I haven't been keeping up as much as I'd like to with fundraising, but during lockdown as well, we were doing before lockdown, charity concerts, and then having to do them pre-recorded. It's an amazing charity, all local. Mary is absolutely fantastic, and the money goes towards helping girls get to school in Sri Lanka and provides tuk-tuks for them. She's honestly, if you read her story, she is absolutely incredible. So yeah.
I love that.
It's the Rosie May Foundation. Yeah.
Wait, that's brilliant. You know what? If you send me the link, if you can, I'll put it out so people can see it. I've got 54 minutes. Last but not least, and I said, I'll keep mentioning it. I said Forest will finish 15th, and last one. I said, I don't know what to say. What can I say? How can I reword it? Right now, since Steve Cooper, I know we've mentioned players. What player, I'll start with you, Lisa, has over improved? Like you thought, he's not gonna do nothing good. But who's been that player? Thinking, yes, he's been wow. Like we mentioned, there's loads of them. We can mention all of them, but that one player that stood out for you. Oh. Ryan Yates.
My guy, Mr. Ryan.
Right. Why did I say that to Lisa? I don't know. Lisa, can I have one, Lisa? I want one.
FC Coasters on Twitter. FC Coasters.
What I said, yeah, because I've got my forest players on here. I can put Ryan Yates here. So
Yeah.
So Matt, can you make me a Ryan Yates, please? Because he's on it. Steve,
I'll buy you one, Ben. I'll get you one for Christmas.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you. Steve, what players like? He's been.
I'm going to go personally for me. A guy you mentioned earlier on, and a guy who I wrote off. I never wrote about him or said, but I just thought, he's not coming back in the fold. He's Colbeck. I just thought, no, he's never going to come back into it. He's never going to be, And wow, just and it's without going long-winded about it, but you know what? That just proves that managers know their stuff, and we can pontificate over it and whatever. But in a million years, I wouldn't have said he'd have come back and had the impact he's had. And hats off. So he's my man.
Al and Bob.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. But as well, someone who we all love, Graben. I've got to say, I did think
Grabadinho.
Love him.
I thought that was it for him. I'm not going to lie.
Grabadinho.
He's come back with an absolute bang. Last season was nothing. Absolutely brilliant.
I think I mentioned as well, for someone who was getting pelters, and probably rightly so early in the season, because he was probably costing us a goal a game, was Samba as well.
We've not even mentioned him, have we?
We've not even mentioned Samba. Today, he always puts I'm like this.
Yeah.
Samba, stop. Please don't do it. But
that's a great point, Bob. That is a great point, because so many people saying he's got to be dropped, get him out, clanger every game, and then just turn around. The views we have, the manager knows, they know their stuff, don't they? So that's a great one.
People forget though, Samba's quite young for a keeper, and he hasn't actually played that many games, has he? Keepers always go through that dip, don't they? And he's come out of it better than ever. Was it Peter? No, Peterborough, where he was unbelievable.
And of course, everyone knows you play up front, you make a mistake, no one notices. Playing goal, you make a mistake, it's a goal.
100%. And there's one question I'm about to everyone, and we know we're talking about the pandemic as well, and I hope it don't happen. And we know, like we mentioned, like Samba plays fantastic when he's played with crowd, and I don't want to mention it with Sabri Lamucci and the Kusutan season last season. And if fans don't turn up next after this from now, do you think it might affect the players? I'm going to ask you, Lisa, before we go.
I do think they will. I mean, I think some of our players do play to a crowd. I think Samba is definitely one of them, and it's just a completely different experience, isn't it? Even going to like the under-23s games where maybe you've got 300 or 400 people there. It's such a different atmosphere. So I am fearful that but it's the same for everybody. We can't just say that it's down to Forest. If we aren't allowed in, then the rest of the championship are going to be in the same boat. So we've just got to, hope that our players can put it behind them, and look to the fact that our manager went through that with Swansea last time, and they got in the playoffs. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
it just can't happen. Like that time away from the game was horrendous. I know they might. Hope at worst hope to be small. I mean, one of the grounds I've never been to for whatever reason is Borough. I got my tickets all lined up for Boxing Day. So if it cancels that, I'll be like, no.
Yeah. I think it'll be January. I don't think it'll be over Christmas.
Arsenal will be the game that's off.
Oh, don't.
Derby. Arsenal and Derby.
Oh, in January as well. Oh, thinking of why did I mention it?
Nice one. Can we end on a positive?
Right, we're positive. I said it would be a daft question, but I know managers come and go, and Steve Cooper, like I said, he's been fantastic for us. For how many months he's been here? Is it since September now? September, November, October, I think it was. And so one question, like one positive thing about Cooper. Lisa, one positive thing about Cooper.
His fist pumps, obviously.
Steve.
His record: 2 seasons with Swansea, playoffs twice.
Al and Bob.
His belief for the club, high standards.
I think the fact that he seems to improve players, that's key.
Very good.
That's very good. That's very good. But before I forgot to say this, before we go, I mentioned Lisa. She spoke to Dane Murphy, and Lisa, what was it like speaking to Murphy?
It was a it was a privilege to speak to him, and he was very honest and very down to earth guy, and the expectation for the club is high. And whilst we've heard it all before, you know, we've had the "we're serious about promotion, are you?" and we bought into it then. I seriously do believe that there are some good things going to happen for our club, and it's quite exciting.
But like I said, people, it's cool for every Forest podcast. I will put the link below. It is a fantastic thing, and as well, Lisa, Holly, Ruby, as well. Steve's retired, aren't you, Steve?
Dan as well. Dan White.
Dan as well, from USA, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
USA, yeah. So
just ask Lisa a question.
Yeah.
How many years into the 5-year plan are we now?
27. Feels like it.
Yeah.
Oh,
you get a free DeLorean. Yeah.
You get a long service medal after 30.
Oh no. God, no.
5-year plan.
5-year plan.
We went down instead of up, didn't we?
Oh, unbelievable 5-year plan. Who thinks about plans and all these days? But yeah, as I said, people go and watch. I'm going to listen to Fair after this, so I'm going to try and listen to after the game. Well, yeah, people, the 92 people in who listened to his talk about Forest. I appreciate everyone. Foxer, thank you very much. And Lisa, stop taking pictures of me because I'm camera shy.
You love it, camera shy.
I'm sick of it. No more pictures, Lisa. Cheers, Steve. But yeah, Steve, thank you very much for coming on as well. Thank you for Bob as well.
Thank you.
I love bumping into Elle because she's always gets the predictions right. I think Bob, didn't you say 2-1 against Bristol City?
Yeah,
got it right. And
I didn't think I'd got it right with about a minute to go though.
But yeah, people, it's been appreciated. I appreciate everyone that's come to the channel. And last but not least, I want to wish everyone a happy Christmas. And I think I'll be back in Christmas. I don't know when I'll be back. I don't think I'll be doing a Middlesbrough podcast because it's Christmas Day. So I appreciate everyone that's watched my channel. I'm almost at 6K. But like I said, everyone, I've been appreciated. And so I hope everyone has a happy Christmas. And last but not least, up the Forest, everyone.
Up you Reds.
You Reds.
You Reds.
Yeah.